Hello, hello, hello. Check this. Hello.
అత్తుందారా అత్తుందా అత్తుందిరా చూడరు ఇప్పుడు మంచిగా వస్తుంది.
Hello, hello. Check this. Hello, hello. Check. Hello, hello, hello.
అవుట్ లిస్ట్ అత్తుంది అత్తుంది అత్తుంది.
Hello, hello. Check this. Hello, hello.
Please raise and welcome the chief guest with a round of applause. Kindly be seated. A very good morning to everyone gathered here. Welcome to the International Conference on Recent Advancements in Artificial Intelligence and Soft Computing, ICAISC-2025. Search for knowledge has been the essential motivation for civilization, growth, and the development of technology. Albert Einstein quoted that knowledge opens the door to opportunity, achievement, success, and wealth. This international conference on recent advancements in artificial intelligence and soft computing establishes a platform for sharing that knowledge. A small cheer and a great welcome make a merry feast, said William Shakespeare. I am Dr. Diana Moses, Associate Professor from the Department of Computer Science and Engineering. I am more than grateful today to stand before all of you on behalf of the management and the conference organizers to welcome each one of you to this occasion. I'm very privileged to welcome our chief guest of the day, Professor V. Balakrishna Reddy Garu, Honorable Chairman, Telangana Council for Higher Education, to this august occasion. I kindly request you to come over to the dais, sir. We would like to welcome you with a bouquet. I take this opportunity to welcome our chief guest, our guest of honor, Professor P.V. Sudha Garu, Director, Center of Excellence, AI and ML, and the head of the Department of CSC, Osmania University, Hyderabad, to this event. Welcome you, ma'am. We would like to welcome you with a bouquet, ma'am. It is my pleasure to welcome our secretary and correspondent, the visionary of the institution, Shri K. Krishna Rao Garu, to this august occasion. I kindly request you to... We welcome you, sir. We would like to honor you with a bouquet. I am most grateful to welcome our Director Infrastructure, Shri T. Rakesh Reddy Garu, to this occasion. We welcome you, sir. We would like to honor you with a bouquet, sir. I am honored to welcome our mentor and guide, the Director of Methodist College of Engineering and Technology, Professor M. Lakshmipati Rao, sir, to this guest. We welcome you, sir. I am glad to welcome the head of the institution, our principal, Professor Dr. Prabhuji Benakop, sir, to this conference inauguration. We welcome you, sir. I am immensely happy to welcome the head of the department and the chair of the conference, Professor Dr. P. Lavanya, ma'am. We welcome you, ma'am, onto the dais. I'm pleased to welcome the co-chair of the conference, Professor Dr. Sharda Varalakshmi, ma'am, to this wonderful program. We welcome you, ma'am. I'm more than happy to welcome Dr. T. Praveen Kuar, convener of the conference, onto the dais. We welcome you, sir. I am happy to welcome the co-convener of the conference, Dr. U. Maulali, Department of CSE. We welcome you onto the dais, sir. I take this opportunity also to welcome Shri Vinay sir and Shri Pradeep Reddy sir, the management members, to this event. And I especially thank Professor P.V. Sudha ma'am for being the keynote speaker for today. And also I would like to make a note of the welcome presented to Mr. Vijay Varma Potturi, lead software engineer, Salesforce, Atlanta, who will be delivering the second keynote session in tomorrow's session. I'm pleased to welcome all the session chairs, the paper reviewers to the inaugural. I'm thankful to welcome all the conference delegates who have come from various institutions, and they have submitted their papers for this conference. This conference selected papers are being published in the International Journal of Engineering and Technology, published by the Grenz Scientific Society and indexed under Scopus. I wish all the delegates best wishes on behalf of the organizers for their presentation scheduled in the coming 2 days. I also place on record my welcome to the people from the press and media who are in charge of coverage of this international conference, and I'm happy to welcome all the deans and the heads of various departments of the host institution, along with all the faculty, teaching and non-teaching members of the host institution. And I welcome all the student participants who are gathered here for this event. Welcome once again, one and all. Light symbolizes knowledge, wisdom, hope, luminance, brilliance, and life. It is an act of dispelling darkness, and we would like to request all the dignitaries on the dais to join in the lighting of the lamp. I kindly request the chief guest of the day, Professor V. Balakrishna Reddy Garu, Honorable Chairman, TGCHE, and the guest of honor, Professor P.V. Sudha Garu, Director, Center of Excellence, AML OU, and all the dignitaries to join with the lighting of the lamp. I'll request Deepthi Madam to lead us with a prayer.
Thank you, ma'am. I would like to begin this incredible conference with a Purandara Dasa Kriti on Lord Ganesha. Sharanu Siddhi Vinayaka, Sharanu Vidya Pradayaka, Sharanu Parvati Tanaya Muruti, Sharanu Mushika Vahana, Sharanu Siddhi Vinayaka, Nitila Netrane Devi Sutane, Nagabhushana Priyane, Tatilatankita Komalangane, Karnakundala Dharane, Sharanu Siddhi Vinayaka, Kukshi Mahalambodharane, Ikshu Chapana Gelidane, Pakshivahana Shri Purandara, Vithalana Nijadasane, Sharanu Siddhi Vinayaka, Sharanu Vidya Pradayaka, Sharanu Parvati Tanaya Muruti, Sharanu Mushika Vahana, ಶರಣು ಸಿದ್ಧಿ ವಿನಾಯಕ ಶರಣು ಸಿದ್ಧಿ ವಿನಾಯಕ. I thank all the dignitaries as we proceed through the event. Leadership is the capacity to translate vision into reality. When a leader motivates, monitors, and mobilizes, success is inevitable. I am Deepthi Joshi, Assistant Professor from the Department of CSE. I now request the head of our institution, Principal Professor Prabhuji Benekop sir, to share about the success of our Methodist College of Engineering and Technology.
Good morning, one and all. Good morning, one and all. Honorable Chief Guest, Professor V. Balakrishna Reddy, respected Chairman, Telangana Council of Higher Education. Guest of Honor, Professor P.V. Sudha, Director, Center of Excellence, AI and ML, Usmania University, Hyderabad. Esteemed Correspondent, Sri K. Krishna Rao Sir, Director of Infrastructure, Sri Rakesh Reddy Garu, Dr. Lakshmipati Rao, Director MCIT, Dr. B.L. Raju, Principal, Stanley College of Engineering and Technology for Women's, Dr. Lavanya, HOD, Department of CSE, Mr. Vinay, Director, Stanley Group of Institutions, Dr. Sharada Varalakshmi, Professor AIDS, distinguished deans, HODs, organizers, esteemed faculty members, delegates from various institutions, members of the press and media. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to the organizers, faculty members, and reviewers for their meticulous effort in making this international conference on international advancement in artificial intelligence and soft computing a resounding success, from rigorous paper evaluations to the extent of around 377 to securing Scopus indexing. Your dedication has set a benchmark for excellence. A warm welcome to all the delegates, dignitaries, and participants. Your presence enriches this global forum for cutting-edge discussions on AI and soft computing. It is thrilled to announce our next milestone, the IEEE sponsored International Conference on Electronic Systems and Artificial Intelligence and Applications, organized in collaboration with Avionics Society India, which is scheduled on 29th to 31st January 2026, which is IEEE sponsored conference. That also we're going to scheduling it in the month of January 2026. This event promises to further bridge innovation and academia. We invite your continued support to make it another landmark of success. Generally, the international conference is a platform to provide a knowledge exchange, networking, collaboration among the like-minded researchers in the same diverse group of opportunities. Academic journals are classified based on the quality, based on the impact factor, like called Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, with an highest impact on Q1, 25% in the quartiles, and up to Q4, based on their impact factor. Publishing Q1 journals significantly boosts a researcher's credibility and visibility. Impact metrics such as citation, H-index, I-index are the measuring parameters for our research publications. Additionally, I request all the faculty members to maintain a platform profile in your Vidwan platform, which is a Ministry of Education, which will again going to boost the like-minded people in your particular domains like. So regarding our institute, it's my privilege to present a brief report of Methodist College of Engineering and Technology, an autonomous, non-minority institution established in the year 2008, located in the heart of Hyderabad at Abbots. Spread across 5 acres of campus, MCET is proud to be NAC A+ grade with CGPA of 3.32. All eligible undergraduate programs are accredited by NBA. Also, MCET has been granted autonomous status by the UGC for a period of 10 years. We have 40% faculty members hold a PhD degrees, remaining are pursuing PhD in reputed universities, NITs and IITs. Our students have consistently brought laurels in the institution, earning 4 university gold medals, securing 10 university ranks in the recent past. MCET offers 7 engineering courses to cater the needs of all the domains, including the emerging areas. Emerging areas like CSC, AIDS, and CSC AI, as well as CSC AIML, where all these allied branches are together in the emerging areas. Also, apart from ECE, and core branches are also were given chance. All core branches like civil engineering, mechanical engineering, and civil engineering, where we are providing an opportunity for the students to pursue their minor degrees and honors degrees, those who are interested to pursue their minor courses in the emerging areas like AIML, AI courses and all like. In addition to that, we offer post-graduations in ME CAD/CAM as well as a Master of Business Administration MBA. To cater the need of working professionals, recently 2024-25, AICT and state government has permitted us to start working professional courses in the evening hours, 0 hours from 6 to 9:30 in the courses like Triple, Civil, Mechanical for an intake of 30. So obviously, our main objective is to cater the needs for core branches, emerging areas, in addition to the working professionals has been achieved in this particular campus. So in the year 2024-25, where our intake was 918, we could reach to the extent of 98% admissions among all the branches. One thing I want to highlight here is the placement which you could achieve for the year 2024 is to the extent of 84%. Still it is under process. Still it is under progress now. So here to highlight more about our faculty members, we have around 108 patents have been filed. Out of 108 patents, 67 patents have been published and 27 patents have been granted. So this is one among the research culture which has been developed in our institute. So in addition to that, all the department across all the domains we established center of excellences in the CSC department, mechanical department, ECE department through the collaboration with ICT Academy, T-Hub and all like, Honeywell and all like. So in addition to that, we have some spoken tutorial classes in association with IIT Bombay, that is National Mission on Education through Information and Communication Technology. Recently, 2024, we got a first rank in the national level, first rank, the prestigious NDLI Club Excellence Award for our library, which is part of NDL Club. So, Civil Department of our institute could get a consultancy worth of around 1.5 crores during last 2 years. In addition to that, to highlight one more thing, recently we got a grant from AICT to establish the AICT Idea Lab to the extent of around 90 lakhs has been granted by AICT to take care of the startup activities and innovation culture in the department like. This is what is very brief about our institute. Once again, I request all the participants, all the staff members here to grab this opportunity to see to it that more number of paper, good number of paper, original paper has to be presented in this conference. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you, sir, for giving an overview about the institution. This would have been really helpful for all the 650 plus participants who have joined the live streaming on YouTube today. Thank you, sir. The quality of a leader is reflected in the standards they set for themselves. The Department of Computer Science and Engineering in Methodist is led by Dr. Lavanya Pamalaparthi with exemplary standards in academics and research. An example of which is this international conference, ICAISC-2025. I kindly request the head of the department of the host institution to bring the overview of the department and the conference.
Thank you, Dr. Diana, for your kind words. A very good morning to all of you. I welcome all the dignitaries on the dais and off the dais. Thank you so much for coming. Just a few words about the department and the conference. About the Department of Computer Science and Engineering at MCET, as established in 2008 with an intake of 60, and subsequently we have enhanced to 120 and then to 180. The department currently offers BE programs in CSE, CSE AI, CSE AI-ML, CSE AI and DS. The student strength has now grown to 1800 plus. The department is accredited with NBA in 2025 and earlier in 2022. The department emphasizes more on student-centric and friendly, lively environment by systematically balancing the academics and extracurricular activities. The department has set up Swayam NPTEL local chapter in collaboration with MHRD. The department has various MOUs, including Technology Business Incubator with Osmania University. We have AI Shala Technologies Private Limited, who's providing us the internships. We have done many programs with Salesforce, Ulex Solutions Private Limited, and many more. The list goes on. The department includes different centers of academic excellence in association with companies such as Dell EMC, Cisco Networking Academy, Oracle Workforce Development, Computer Society of India, ICT Academy, Spoken Tutorials with IIT Mumbai, and Telangana Academy for Skill and Knowledge Task. The department is proud to share that our students have completed more than 4,000 global certifications through these MOUs in the past 5 years. This has impacted our students' placements greatly, and some of our students have placed with very good packages in various companies. Now, today, the department is proud to organize international conference on recent advancements in artificial intelligence and soft computing 2025, which is our 4th international conference. The conference is providing an excellent opportunity for the scientists and engineers to present and discuss the latest scientific results and methods. This conference is providing a platform to discuss of the practical challenges encountered in different domains and the solutions adopted. The conference includes the keynote addresses from Professor P.V. Sudha Madam, Director, Center of Excellence, AI/ML, and Head, Computer Science of Engineering, Osmania University, and Mr. Vijay R. Verma Poturi, Lead Software Engineer, Salesforce, Atlanta, USA. About 1,800 members contributed 1,910 papers from 200 plus institutions, and this has spread around 18 states of India. It's a proud achievement for the department. After thorough reviving, 377 papers, including international submissions from the USA, Ethiopia, and Malaysia, have been accepted for the publication, especially in the International Journal of Engineering and Technology, which is published by Grand Society and indexed by Scopus. The presentations of these selected papers are scheduled both in online and offline mode, which is spread across 11 tracks in these 2 days. We would like to express our gratitude to the external reviewers for providing an additional help in the review process, and the authors for contributing their research result to the conference. Special thanks goes to the IDS publishers, Grant's Journal editorial team for their continuous support. Now this inaugural is streamed live on YouTube and all the delegates have already joined. I thank all of them from this platform. We wish all the attendees of ICAISC-2025 a transforming scientific experience. I thank the chief guest and the guest of honor for accepting our invitation, being with us today. And I personally thank all the management members, faculty, HODs, and all the students who have helped us in organizing this conference. This is not a one-day job. We have been working on it from the past 6 months. I thank each and every one. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. You have been a motivation as always. Before becoming a leader, success is all about growing yourself. When you become a leader, success is all about growing others, says Jack Welch. That saying goes well for our director, Professor M. Lakshmipati Rao, sir, who would like to address the gathering. Because of schedule considerations, I would like to inform a slight change in the course of events. And now I consider it my privilege to introduce the chief guest of today's program, Professor Dr. V. Balakrishna Reddy Garu, the chairman of the Telangana Higher Education State Council, who is a distinguished academic and legal expert in international law. Formerly, he has served as Dean of the School of Law at Mahindra University and held pivotal roles at Nalsar University, including the Vice Chancellor and the Registrar. With the international law from Osmania University and his PhD in international air and space law from Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi, Sir has 25 years plus of teaching and research experience, and he has been recognized with numerous awards, including the Meritorious State Teachers Award by the Government of Telangana in 2017 and Nalsar's Excellence Research Award in 2021. His expertise in international air and space law has been acknowledged globally. He has been presenting papers at prestigious forums such as the UNO. Sir has been a member of the drafting committee constituted by Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO, and his DRDO-funded research highlights his contributions to the defense sector. As the Director, Center for Aerospace and Defense Laws, Sir has pioneered and initiated value-added courses in aviation, space, and defense. Today, as we inaugurate ICAISC 2025, we are privileged to have Professor Dr. V. Balakrishna Reddy Garu, Chairman of TGCHE, with us today. Sir would be addressing the gathering today.
With the permission of the chief guest, I would like to share some happy information with all of you. Today is Professor Balakrishna Reddy's birthday. So, on behalf of the college, we wish him all the best.
So, good morning to one and all. Respected dignitaries on the dais, off the dais, respected faculty members, delegates, and my dear students. Some of you are students also there. That's why, of course, I don't call you as a students. You are going to be the future of India. Sometime I refer you are going to be the future of world, because world is depending on India in the years to come, decades to come. That's why today India is going to play a significant role when it comes human resource development, particularly all kind of human resources. That's why I call you all future of India, future of the world. Yes. Let me first, yes, today is more than my birthday, Environment Day. So you all know that Environment Day today. This year theme of Environment Day is the prohibition of plastic pollution. This was announced by the UNEP. There is an organization called United Nations Environment Program, which decides Environment Day, and all these years. It happened in 1972, part of the Stockholm. So I all greeting you on this occasion of Environment Day. Okay. So let me first congratulate and also thank you. Why I had to congratulate the organizers? Because they choose the theme of topic of topical relevance. Today we talk about technology, we talk about AI, and also particularly recent advances in AI, in computing, in other things. Why recent advances? I'll talk about that. That's why I want to congratulate for choosing a very important and very topical importance. I also thank you because you invited me to share some of my thoughts with you all. Thank you, sir. Thank you, friends. Today, yes, recent advances in AI, artificial intelligence, and so on. Part of it. What is the technology? Technology is the application of scientific knowledge. For what? For practical purposes, for industrial purposes. If you ask me when technology started, I don't have answer. I'll give you a clever answer. I can tell you from time immemorial, from ancient times. Today we are talking about technology, but it's not new to the humanity. Humanity used technology. You go to any civilization, whether it's Indus civilization or any ancient civilization, the humanity was used this technology for construction, for other things. So technology was there, is going to be there, past, present, and future. But what kind of innovation, what kind of advancements, because topic is again, talking about advancement. What kind of advancements happening in this technology? I'll just, talk few minutes about that. Yes, technology was there, but today if you look at, Middle Ages, I said ancient time technology was used, but improvements happened in the Middle Ages because of lot of innovation. Innovation including Renaissance, Reformation movement, printing press. Who invented printing press? Can anybody? Because some students are there. Gutenberg. Yes, printing press has a lot to do with the technology and exchange of ideas. That printing press, sea route, sea trade, all these things helped, advances because of technology. So, and today, I don't want to take into the history, but if you look at last 400-500 years of, history, what kind of advances are happening? Because the title is recent advances. So I want to tell you, last 400-500 years of history, if you look at the kind of advances which we are all witnessing in the technology, what sometimes we refer it as a revolutions. Yes, humanity is, witnessed 17th century scientific revolution, 18th century political revolution, 19th century industrial revolution. We all know that, part of all first industrial, second, third, today we are 4.0 or fourth industrial revolution, which is revolutionizing all our lives. So that is 19th century. 20th century, communication revolution. Today we are in which century? 21st century. What is the revolution we are all witnessing? Digital revolution. That is what the revolutions which we are all witnessing in a fast manner. So today one technology. That's why I always say that when we talk about technology, revolutionary technologies. So that is the kind of advances we are looking, and last 25 years of this, century, particularly 21st century, we all heard about one word when we talk about the technology. What is that word you heard? Net technology. What do we mean by net? New and emerging technologies. It's a buzzword we are talking about, new and emerging technology are what I call A to Z technologies. What do we mean by that? That means you name any alphabet. If I say A, artificial intelligence, automation, big data, Bitcoin technology, blockchain technology, cryptocurrency, drone technology, I can go on telling. Every alphabet has technology. These are the technologies which are advancing, which are revolutionizing, which are also giving comfort. But these technologies, out of all this, yes, definitely the AI is there and is going to be there. AI technologies are, today everywhere. Some reporter asked recently, sir, what is your view on AI technology? I said, Indu led andu galadani sandehamu valadu endendu vetikina andandu AI galadu. That is the beauty of AI. Today, of course, not only beauty, but AI is going to create a lot of challenges also. All these technologies, I am not again a technology person or a technical. I am a law person, but today I have to learn technology. Why? That is the technology. That is the beauty of technology. We all know, friends, we are living in a multidisciplinary world. Whether I am a lawyer, you are a scientist, or technocrat, it won't matter. We have to have multidisciplinary, learnings we have to have. That's why today, whether it's a National Education Policy 2020 or other policies, now they are focusing more on the multidisciplinary approaches. Whether engineering students have to learn, other things, like law graduates. So this is what the technologies, and since you are going to discuss AI technology and other things, I don't want, but AI is going to play a significant role in the years to come, in the decades to come. But it is also worrisome factor. That is, AI is going to take away lot of jobs. That is the kind of worry all surveys says. Just now I was browsing, the people who, Microsoft, taking away lot of jobs. The people who code, AI, they are going to be removed, or they are already removed. 3% of the Microsoft, people who are part of the AI, they removed. So that is the other side of, challenge is also there. So that's why today, any technology, today the mantra is, of course, not only technology for everybody, update or outdate. If you don't update, you are outdated. That is the kind of, space we are living. So we all, I think, excellent, platform the organizers are providing, particularly this emerging area. I just now heard the, college, the kind of papers they received, the kind of scrutiny they had. I think, I should compliment for, this kind of serious. Today, yes, definitely one worrisome factor is that today, research is undermined in our education system. But I heard that you are, doing a lot of research activities. That's why I was, I felt so happy to hear it that, a lot of research happening. I should compliment, I should, congratulate you, and, doing so many 600 plus papers you scrutinized. I think, that's today. These are all, happening things, and, just now I said, one challenging thing for all of us. Yes, there is no doubt technology is going to impact our life all, but technologies are also going to create challenges. As a law person, I can tell you, friends, today, these technologies are good, giving comforts, but other side of the technologies are posing challenge to the governance, challenge to the, society, because of cross-border nature of crimes which are happening through technology. If I say cross-border, you all know that, cyber crime, cyber squatting, all these. So the big challenge is, these are all happening in multiple jurisdictions. If something happening in India, Indian government can take action. But, people sitting here doing something which is happening somewhere else, all these, how to regulate, how to control is a big challenge. That is what, all we have to think in that thing also. Yes, good, there is no doubt, all, 90%, 80% comforts, but other side of the technologies also we should think, because you are going to discuss next 2 days different aspects, facets of artificial intelligence. So my request to all, learned people I saw, so think over that, other side of the technology, give some thoughts on other side of the technology, because today any problem is happening, this technology, where to go, whom to approach, what kind of recourse we are, clueless. So of course, that, as a law person, I can tell you, law follows technology. Technological developments necessitate the legal regulations. Okay, today that phase technology is happening, but we are, legal fraternity is again, going to face challenge because of, these advances. That's why I always say revolutionary technologies and evolutionary laws. Law is, after technology. The moment when technology happens, some problem comes, then law. For instance, Wright brothers invented aircraft, space technology, then rules and regulations are, happening. So one important message I want to I begin with that. So India, we are talking about knowledge. We are talking about, intellect. If you go back to the history, those who possess knowledge, those who possess intellect, those who possess, innovation, they rule the globe. For instance, 19th century ruled by UK, small country, because of their intellect. 20th century America. We say 21st century is the Asian century. Sometime we say that it is Indian century because India is going to emerge as a leader in the 21st century because of, though population is a liability. Today almost we are reaching 1.5 billion, 150 crores. But being a demographic dividend, or what we call young nation, India is a youth country, youngest country, because 65% of the population is below 35 years age. 50% of the population is 25 years age. If you look at the globe, no country has this kind of advantage. That's why this youth population, if we are to put in the right direction, only way is good education. Good education. That education not only takes care of our, national or, our needs, but it should reflect the global needs. Because I said again, I am repeating, globe is eyeing on India. Globe is depending on India. That's why I think this is a greater responsibility we have. We have to keep that in mind. That's why institutions like Methodist and others, I think we have to innovate. What kind of education we need next 5 years, next 10 years, next 15 years? Of course, today the phobia is only computer science. I am not, happy because everybody is talking about computer science and all. I think, other branches also, lot of scope. Today, if we need 100 people, 1,000 computer scientists or technocrats we are producing, what about 900 people? Think over. That's why I think, all branches are important. I think, so this is one phobia we have to come out, whether it's that students or parents. As a chairman, I am requesting. Yes, as a chairman, what is my, higher education council? What is our role, vision? My vision, my objective is higher education at the doorsteps of the needy with affordable cost without compromising quality. Affordability, accessibility, quality, these are all three important things. And we are trying. I took over 6 months back. So if we have to reform, make changes in the education system, you all know last 10 years, 15 years, education system is in doldrums. There is no hesitation in saying, but if we have to change, where to start? We have to start giving updated syllabus. That syllabus has to be in sync with industry needs. That syllabus has to take care of global needs. That's why we in Higher Education Council, we are working to update syllabus. Of course, you all know that most of you are from engineering background, at least AICT updates in every 3-4 years. But it is not true with other areas, particularly I'm talking about whether, undergrads, BA, BSc, BCom, all. So we are trying and updating, and one happy thing I want to share with you all that today, earlier we know only 2 languages. English is a global language, compulsory, Telugu or Hindi, whatever second language. You know what is the third language we made? Technology is the third language. Whether it is AI tools and technology, cyber, all graduates are going to study because that is the kind of, requirement we have. So if we don't, study technology as a BA student, as a law student, I will be outdated. So I don't want that. That's why we are trying our best to update the syllabus, to provide opportunities, sort of thing. So with this, I know, sorry for coming in between, I know procedures, but I have other programs. That's why I requested organizers to, give me opportunity. So for that, I thank once again and, for inviting me. Thank you for everyone, giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. One accurate measurement is worth 1,000 expert opinions, and a conference proceeding is an accurate measure of the dissemination of knowledge and technology. that's accomplished through a conference. I now request our chief guest, Professor V. Balakishta Reddy Garu, Honorable Chairman, TGCHE, to release the conference proceedings.
Thank you for your presence for the release of the conference proceedings, sir. In the digital era, we would also like to release the e-copy launch of the conference proceedings. I would request the guest of honor, Professor P.V. Sudhagaru, Director, Center of Excellence, AAML, to release the e-conference proceedings. There we go. We have an whooping 377 publications in the conference proceedings. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
I now request the Secretary and Correspondent, Shri Krishna Rao Sir, to present a memento to our Chief Guest, Professor V. Balakishta Reddy Sir, Honorable Chairman, Telangana Council for Higher Education. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your presence here with us today, sir. Thank you, sir.
Please be seated. I request our director, Professor M. Lakshmipati Rao sir, who always empowers all of us to do our best. I now request sir to address the gathering.
Very good morning to one and all. The guest of honor, Professor P.V. Sudha, Director, Center for Excellence in AI and ML, Usmania University, and also the head of the department of CSE Department, Usmania University, other dignitaries on the dais, distinguished delegates, esteemed researchers, faculty members, and my dear students. It is both an honor and pleasure to welcome you to this international conference on recent advancements in artificial intelligence and soft computing. I would like to compliment the Department of CSE for organizing this two-day international conference. On behalf of MCET, I extend my deepest gratitude to our visionary speakers, dedicated and passionate participants who have come together to shape the future of AI. AI is no longer a buzzword. It is defining technology of our era. From diagnosing diseases with greater accuracy than human doctors to enabling self-driving cars to navigate complex environments, AI and soft computing are revolutionizing every facet of modern life. The British-American computer scientist Andrew Ng, a pioneer and influential figure in the field of deep learning, a technology entrepreneur, and also the founder of Coursera, once said, AI is the new electricity. Just as electricity transformed industries 100 years ago, AI will now do the same. But let me share a quick anecdote. A few years ago, an AI system at MIT was trained to predict breast cancer from mammograms. Surprisingly, it not only matched radiologists' accuracy, but also detected patterns invisible to the human eye. Yet, when asked how it arrived at its conclusions, the system could not explain its reasoning. A harsh reminder that with great power comes great responsibility. There are lots of challenges and responsibilities to be taken care with fast developments in AI. The chief guest has already pointed out some of the problems that the humanity is facing. We stand at a critical juncture in technological history where our innovations threaten to outpace our wisdom. The breathtaking advancement of artificial intelligence compels us to confront fundamental questions about our future. It also presents us with pressing questions that demand thoughtful considerations. The first question being ethical AI. How can machines learn fairness when taught by inherently imperfect human data or human biases? The second question about transparency. Can we trust AI if even its creators do not fully understand its decisions? The third one, human AI collaboration. How do we design systems that augment rather than replace human potential? So these are the vital questions that are to be addressed. This is not just a technological challenge, it is a societal transformation. According to the World Economic Forum, AI and automation may displace 85 million jobs by 2025, even as they create 97 million new roles in emerging fields. So unless you are an expert in AI, there is no future for the students. So because new roles are going to come up. Meanwhile, Goldman Sachs, founded in 1869 as a leading global investment bank, estimated that 300 million full-time jobs worldwide, particularly in administration, law, and accounting, could be automated by AI. These projections are more than statistics. They signal a profound shift in how we work, learn, and adapt. The future of AI depends on the choices we make today. To quote Stuart Russell, a pioneer in AI, the real question is not whether machines can think, but whether humans can remain in control of those missions. That is the question. Then the role of academia, taking into consideration the fast-paced technological developments, we at MCET strongly believe education must evolve alongside technology. So being an autonomous institution, as a part of the curriculum, our mission is threefold: interdisciplinary innovation, merging AI with robotics, IoT, and sustainability. The second one, responsible research, establishing an AI ethics lab to audit algorithms for fairness. The third one being future-ready graduates. Though hackathons like AI for social good, where students built apps to address societal needs. This conference is more than just an exchange of ideas. It's a call to action. Let us collaborate across borders to solve global challenges, question the unintended consequences of AI, inspire the next generation to build technology that serves humanity. To our students, I leave you with this thought from Alan Kay, an American computer scientist. The best way to predict future is to invent it. So it is in your hand. The future is in your hands. At the end, I would like to remind you of Albert Einstein's grave warning. It has become appallingly obvious that our technology has exceeded our humanity. These words, spoken decades before artificial intelligence, feel chillingly prophetic even today. The question is no longer whether we can advance technology, but whether we can advance with it without leaving our humanity behind. This is the question of the hour. Let us remember that AI's great potential lies not in replacing humans, but in empowering us to solve problems once deemed impossible. I wish you all inspiring and productive conference. Finally, I would like to extend our deepest gratitude to our beloved correspondent, Sri K. Krishnarao Garu, for his unwavering support, visionary leadership, and invaluable guidance in making this international conference a resounding success. His steadfast commitment and generous encouragement have been instrumental in turning this ambitious endeavor into a reality. We are truly honored by his dedication to academic excellence and innovation. Thank you. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir. I am honored to introduce today's guest of honor, Professor Dr. P.V. Sudhagaru, a distinguished luminary in the fields of artificial intelligence, data science, and healthcare innovation. Dr. P.V. Sudhamam is visionary AI and ML leader with over 22 years of experience driving innovation at the intersection of academia and industry. As professor and head at Usmania University, she has superheaded the development of cutting-edge curricula in AI and ML, leading to NBA accreditation and the successful launch of UG and PG programs. She is a renowned AI strategist, thought leader, and senior executive with a stellar career spanning over 2 decades in driving digital transformation, intelligent automation, and cutting-edge AI solutions across global enterprises. As a director of Center of Excellence in AI and ML under RUSA, she has initiated high-impact research projects in computer vision, NLP, and scalable cloud systems, often in collaboration with esteemed organizations. Today, as we inaugurate ICAISC-2025, we are privileged to have Professor P.V. Sudhagaru to inspire us with her vision. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to our esteemed guest of honor, Dr. Sudha Pelluri ma'am.
A very good morning to all of you and to all the members on the dais and all the esteemed members of the dais. It is an absolute honor to stand before you at the inaugural session of this wonderful conference. Artificial intelligence today is not a buzzword as mentioned by the speakers prior to me, and we are all reaping the benefits of it. So whether it is predicting the protein structures to poetry, from helping the farmers in agriculture to manufacturing, to retail, to inventory management, wherever it is making a big difference. And we are all able to see, we are able to feel it, we are able to use it, right? So it is something like a 24/7 working intern who doesn't take rest. However, it does hallucinate sometimes. And then there is this soft computing, which has been our companion for quite some time. But that core component of how genetic algorithms, how fuzzy systems, how optimization really helps a lot of algorithms of AI is making a big change. So together, AI and soft computing are not only solving these equations, but meeting the expectations, changing and delivering whatever new algorithms that are being ideated by young students and researchers like you. As mentioned by the chief guest and the speakers prior to me, we all know that this current decade and the coming years are going to belong to those who are going to lead the industry, those who are going to lead with innovation. That is only possible if you take part of it. You are a part of it. So if you really want to lead the change, you want to be the change, then just following the AI or following the algorithms, just trying to replicate whatever is available is not good enough. So what more is required? What is required is you drive the change. You look at how you can innovate, how you can create something new from what you have learned. You might have learned during your coursework a lot of algorithms and a lot of mechanisms, a lot of frameworks and so on. But the real change that we expect and real value addition that you can make to the country's growth is by making some innovation. But how do you start doing this innovation? Just replicating and copying is not enough. What is required is your thought process in applying these concepts, these AIs, these frameworks, whatever is existing, and pushing it a little further. So innovative thinking and modifying, making change, that requires you to have a good grasp on the fundamentals. So researchers, I'm sure you have done your part in capturing the fundamentals and doing your bit. Now what is required further is taking part in this kind of conferences and competitions and a lot of hackathons, online, offline and so on, where you can judge where you stand and improve upon from the ideas that you get from all the other researchers, your co-workers. I'm sure all of you know that we have had a great collaboration with Methodist College of Engineering for quite a number of years. I have been seeing your growth story, and I am proud and happy to be here to be a part of your growth story as well. For the last many years, there has been so much of effort from the department and the college in general in trying to live up to the challenges that are being thrown by AI, soft computing, machine learning, deep learning and whatnot. So I'm happy to be here, and I wish all the researchers, all the scholars, students, make the most of these 2 days and see that you raise the bar so that you contribute to the growth success of the country and at international levels. Wish you all the best.
The great legend Dalai Lama once said that the roots of all goodness lie in the soil of appreciation. In appreciation to the voluminous contribution made by our chief guest and guest of honor to the grandeur of today's event. As a token of gratitude, I now thank Rakesh Reddy Garu sir. Gratitude is not only the greatest of all virtues, but the mother of all other virtues. As we draw close to this truly enriching and insightful inaugural session of this international conference, it is my distinct honor and privilege to deliver the vote of thanks. As a token of gratitude, I now request Shri T. Rakesh Reddy Garu Sir, Director Infrastructure, Professor M. Lakshmipati Rao Sir, Director, to present a memento to our guest of honor, Professor P.V. Sudha Garu, Director, Center of Excellence, AI and ML, and Head of the Department of CSE, Usmania University. Thank you, ma'am. First and foremost, on behalf of the organizing committee, I extend our deepest gratitude to our esteemed chief guest, Professor V. Balakishta Reddy Sir, Honorable Chairman, TGCHE Telangana. Your presence and especially your inspiring address set a profound tone for our discussions. Thank you, sir. We are incredibly thankful to our distinguished guest of honor, Professor P.V. Sudha ma'am, Head of the Department CSE OU, for the thought-provoking lecture. Your expertise and dedication in sharing cutting-edge research and insights have truly been the backbone of this conference, ma'am. This conference would not have been possible without the unwavering support of our management, Shri Krishna Rao Sir, Secretary and Correspondent, Professor Lakshmipati Rao Sir, Director, Professor Prabhuji Benkop Sir, Principal. Your generous contributions have been instrumental in providing the resources necessary to a great start of this esteemed event. I would like to thank the HODs from other colleges. I thank Pragati ma'am, Professor Pragati ma'am, Professor Uma ma'am for being here today. Vaidehi ma'am, Professor Vaidehi ma'am, all the other HODs. Professor Madan Mohan sir, thank you sir for being here today. We extend our heartfelt thanks to Dr. P. Lavanya ma'am, Professor and Head Computer Science Engineering, Chairperson of ICAISC-2025. Thank you ma'am. Dr. M. Sharada Varlakshmi ma'am, Professor CSE, Co-Chair of ICAISC-2025, for their invaluable guidance in shaping the conference program and ensuring the highest academic standards. A special thanks to brains behind the conference, the convener, Dr. T. Praveen Kumar Sir, Associate Professor, CSE, the co-convener, Dr. U. Maulali Sir, Associate Professor, CSE. We are grateful to our organizing committee, teaching and non-teaching staff, and our dedicated team of volunteers for providing such an excellent facility and all the necessary arrangements. Finally, our sincere appreciation also goes to our esteemed delegates and attendees across the world. Thank you once again, everyone. As we come to the conclusion of this inaugural event, I request everyone to remain seated until the dignitaries have gracefully departed from the dais. We thank you for your cooperation and understanding.
All the delegates will remain in the same venue. We will continue with the keynote session. Keynote session, madam introduce cheyali.
Malli ade same profile cheyali.
I request all the delegates and the participants to kindly be seated.
Just I open, madam. Once confirm.
Yeah, this one.
This one.
Now it is our turn to start with the technical sessions. The first on schedule is the keynote session delivered by Professor P.V. Sudhagaru, Director, Center for Excellence, AA and ML, Osmania University, Hyderabad. Madam is not new to us, but for all the 700 online participants who have joined the YouTube link, I would like to place on record that Madam has been there in association with Methodist College of Engineering and Technology for quite a long time. She has witnessed most of our milestones here, and it is great for us to have Madam with us today to deliver the keynote session for us. I invite Professor Dr. P.V. Sudhagaru Madam to deliver the keynote session today. Welcome you, ma'am. To all the participants watching the live stream, we will be starting with the paper presentation tracks immediately after the keynote session. Please make a note that we will be starting the tracks after the keynote session. Thank you. Welcome you, ma'am.
A very good morning to all the participants, researchers and students. So it's a wonderful time for all of you to be in this era, in this particular time when there is some transformation. Possibly you must have heard that the transformation when printing press came up, or when there was some kind of a change that happened. So disruptive technologies, disruptive times have been there when technologies or some particular contributions have transformed the world. But now it is your turn. It is our turn, right, to be a part of that change. What AI is doing, there is a lot of contribution that is expected from us to make the most of it, to see that we bring something different, something new. So, all of you have heard of generative AI? Yes? So, this idea of generative AI is something that is catching up with non-CS people as well. Everybody would like to know, what is this generative AI? What is it that it generates? How does it generate? In that context, there is something very imperative these days. As you can see, what has been said, what was said by Leonardo da Vinci many, many years ago. A poet would be overcome by sleep and hunger before being able to describe with words what a painter is able to depict in an instant. What the painter is able to depict in an instant, the writers or a poet would actually go on taking a lot of time, right? That is what he's tried to say. In other words, it is as easy to say that a picture is worth 1,000 words. You have read that paper as well. The researchers know that paper as well. A picture is worth 1,000 words. So there are a lot of breakthroughs in text to image generation. If images are so important that it takes 1,000 words to describe whatever some image can describe, why not do that? Why not incorporate this kind of images into our presentations, images into our speeches, images for the students, for the young students and so on. So if that is the case, do you really need to draw everything? No, this generative AI helps you in converting all the text that you have into images. So this image also I generated by giving a prompt, give me the picture of a researcher from India. So this is what it generated, and it has given me multiple other options as well. So this is most representative of you young researchers here. There are a lot of tools. Even before we talk about in-depth of various generative AI techniques, that is what I would be covering a little later. However, just for those of you who are only trying to use the tools, non-CS people who are interested in using all these text to image kind of tools, a brief list is available. One very famous one is DALL-E. All of you must have used, where it started with something as simple as give a picture of a cat on the moon. You have seen that basic one? Cat on the moon, it generates a wonderful picture. Or it is some kind of a person doing some particular task like flying by plane and something like that. So it generates wonderful, whatever we imagine in words, it can convert into a wonderful picture. The same thing is also done by something called as Mid-Journey. Now it is in version 6. And then there is something called as Adobe Firefly. These are different platforms on which they are available. As you can see, Adobe Firefly is available on web, where it is available on Creative Cloud or on Photoshop, Illustrator. These are a bit paid ones. However, for the students, there is a commercial discount as well. Similarly, there is something called as Stable Diffusion that comes from the same technology as well. Internally, what it uses is Stable Diffusion. Similarly, there is something called as Leonardo AI. There is something called as Playground AI. And then there is Deep Fluid IF. All these are mostly for some specific application, they are more suited, as I have mentioned here. For example, Stable Diffusion is more useful for research or creative control, whereas if you are talking about educational demos, possibly Playground AI does a better job. Now, most of you must have also used Canva. I'm sure most of the teachers and researchers here must have prepared good PPTs using Canva, and also banners, all these things. You had earlier this need for someone else to do your banners and all that. Now it is pretty easy, because whatever you want, it can be done very easily. You also have this Canva Pro. Similarly, now there is something called as Imagen from Google, and this is not actually released. However, now very recently this is available for trial. And then there is PixArt, Sigma and Delta. These are available, but however there is a paid part of it. But however, these are very useful when you want to talk about speed control applications. There is also something very commonly used called as Runway ML. I don't know if all of you have used. Just try that. The pictures are so realistic. I don't need to give a big reference. I could be giving I just gave a simple prompt, Shah Rukh Khan celebrating his birthday. Very realistic. So it is difficult to know if it was a real picture or something that the AI has generated. So what you could do is, you could also get this kind of a comparison. And of course, as you know, this is something generated by ChatGPT. I asked ChatGPT to just generate this kind of comparison. So it gives in terms of which one is better in terms of speed, image quality, control, ease of use, and so on. However, a few more are listed beyond what we just saw. Now we come to a little more technical part, which I'm sure all the researchers are looking for. What are these generative models? What is it that we are trying to use when you say generative models? So this idea of, the core idea of deep learning started with trying to train your machines by showing something that is already existing. Something that is already existing was used in machine learning initially to say that we show pictures of 100 different types of fruits, and you show another fruit which is similar to what it has already seen, and it classifies that as a fruit. However, this idea of labeled items comes, or it is possible when you use discriminative technique. However, in generative AI, what happens is these labels are not available. That means to say, if I have a population of people or various kinds of items, which some of them might be fruits and vegetables and whatnot. So in such a case, there are no labels directly available. So that kind of a system would have to depend on the probability of that item being classified correctly as a fruit. Right? So when you give in a test case, it will try to classify, but will tell you with how much of probability does it say that this particular fruit is a fruit. Or it will also say some particular item which is supposed to be a vegetable, it says with a very little probability I will say that this is a fruit. It is probably not a fruit. So like that, given you a very simplified statement. However, once you get into the math of it, you'll understand how generative AI works, or generative models work on the probability part of it. So there could be two ways. One is by explicit density, where it computes the probability of that X. And there is implicit density, where model does not explicitly compute this probability of X, but can sample from the probability of X that it has given. So that brings us to various types of, again, classification as whether it is tractable density or approximation of the density. In implicit, it could be Markov chain and or it could be direct implicit density. Now this is the core idea based on which different kinds of computations or different kinds of models are derived. Now a very simple one that we'll see is called autoregressive model, and a very commonly used one is called variational autoencoder. The ones like Boltzmann machine are having very specific mathematical oriented kind of applications only. So it is because of the complexity in implementing this or to convert all of this. And then a lot of work that is going on is in generative adversarial networks. Now talking about coming back to our text to image generation. If some particular text is given, now the challenge is you don't directly have images where they are tagged or the related text or prompt or this kind of information is not directly available. Some text is being given and a suitable image is to be generated. If I already had, let us say 100 images and we already have the tags to that, whenever that particular similar prompt is given, I can pick up that picture. But now the challenge is we are talking about some space where we have not seen that particular picture, but still you want to generate some kind of a text image from that text which is not tagged. So that makes it possible, or that makes it necessary to look at various approaches. More commonly used are autoregressive models or generative adversarial networks and variational autoencoders and diffusion models. So these are the basic approaches that are possible. Those which are like DALI Mini, we said DALI can be used. So in again there are different varieties in DALI, and also there is something called as Glide and Imagen. So these have used internally these approaches. What I planned to do was I just picked up some of the more famous and well-known papers so that you are able to grasp the technologies as used or as mentioned in these papers, so that you can advance from there on. Right? So there are a few papers that I have picked up. This is a very pretty old by our standards. It is like 2016, nearly 9 years old. But this was something where they started with this idea of generating images from captions with attention. So what they have proposed here is that captions are represented as sequence of words and images are represented as sequence of patches. Now that is the problem. You need to correlate consecutive words with the images. Only consecutive words and machine and large language models, attention based, attention is all you need. You must have read all that. Use of transformers, that is only with reference to languages. Similarly, in computer vision, all of you must have read, and all of you must also be using, researchers must also have worked on vision-based models where one patch is compared to the next patch. Now the challenge is how do you incorporate both of this? So what was done by these authors is these consecutive words and images, these are converted together, or they are used where the sequence of patches keep getting used for drawing on the canvas, right, over a period in time, and the model is viewed as a part of sequence to sequence framework. So internally what was done was they have used something called as deep recurrent attention writer, draw. So this model iteratively draws the patches while attending to relative words in the description. So as the words in the description change, what would happen? Your drawing would also change. That patch which is being drawn based on the change in the sequence of words. If I were to say cat on the moon, the picture would be different from a cat on the sun or a cat on the cloud, right? So this sequence of words that were being put together, that they try to match with the sequence of patches that are drawn. So the cat remains as it is. So it has tried to draw a cat, and then it is trying to see where it has to be put. Right? So this sequence was matched. So in quite some time back, however, what happened was they introduced this conditional align draw model, which is a generative model of images from captions using this attention mechanism, soft attention mechanism. However, in terms of language, what happens is language cannot be understood only by looking forward every word has some kind of a relation or some kind of correlation, backward correlation as well as forward correlation. So it tries to see what is the next word, how does this word, what does this word mean with reference to the next word, and also tries to do backward LSTM to try to get the complete meaning. Right? Only then you can get a complete picture of what that entire, it could be a prompt or it could be one small phrase for which the picture is expected. So they introduce this idea of forward LSTM and a sequence of forward hidden states, and backward LSTM which computes a sequence of backward hidden states. And then this idea of concatenation of backward and forward, that gave a complete picture. Now, having said about autoregressive models, we can also talk about the next mechanism that was used for converting your text to image, which are called as generative adversarial networks or GANs. So how GANs work is, this is a generative model which generates data similar to training data, and adversarial training using two competing adversarial networks which try to beat each other. And of course, we are anyway talking about deep neural networks. So what these generative models do is, the goal is to model the training data distribution. We said probability, right? So the training data distribution is what it tries to use. And in adversarial training, we use generator and discriminator to use this training. And the difference between what the generator has generated and what discriminator has tried to find out if there is an error. So that is called as delay of loss. Right. So the idea is to go on reducing that delay of loss. So there is some kind of particular input that is given. The probability of that is identified, and generator tries to use this and keeps on generating something. Discriminator tries to find out whatever that generator has generated, is it good or bad? Generator has generated something. Now discriminator is the one that tries to find out whatever that has been generated is good or bad. If it is bad, then generator has to do a better job. Then it has to keep changing, right? However, if the real image and or the real picture, whatever has been generated is good enough, then it tries to say that this is good picture, right? So this is all that goes on. It is in a loop. How long does it go on? Till the generator generates certain image which is as good as this real data. So these are the two parts of a GAN. I will not get too much into this. So the generator produces some realistic looking X dash, which is generated by GZ from this latent vector space. This is called as latent vector space. This is based on the probability part of it. So there's a little more math in that, but you can read, those who are interested can read that. So this is sampled from some known prior, like standard Gaussian priors and so on. So this generated something. Now the idea is we want generated distribution PG of X to match the true distribution. Now who has to tell? If generator is the one that is generating, it wouldn't know. You cannot analyze how good you are, right? You want someone else to say how good you are. So that is the task that is being done by the discriminator. So this is the real data, and generator has generated this. Now the discriminator has to tell that there is a lot of variance between what you have generated and the real image. Correct? So this actually is called as a two-player game. Generator network tries to fool the discriminator by generating real looking images, and discriminator tries to distinguish between real and fake images. Right? So continuously this kind of training has to go on. So if coming to the math part of it, you need to maximize log of d of x for real faces and maximize the loss from the discriminator. This is again just a little detailed explanation of that. So what was done was, in some kind of a, this is not very recent, however this is something like 22 paper, where attention GAN, fine-grained text to image generation with attentional generative adversarial networks. This concept of GAN was also used along with attention mechanism. So from transformers we already know the in-depth of attention mechanism. That idea of attention mechanism is added to GANs. Now there's a small picture here. So it is like the bird is red with white and has very short beak. So step by step what would happen is, here it is only able to see the red part of it, here it is able to see the white part of it, and then this beak is slowly improved upon that. So what is happening is, generator is generating images and discriminator is trying to say, no, you are saying white, but this is not good enough. No white here. Then it tries to improve, add some kind of white here. This says, okay, white you have added, but I can't see the beak. Now the beak got added. So this kind of a attention based and GAN based techniques are used. This is the internal architecture. I think the researchers, those who are working in this area, can appreciate that this kind of attention models are used at multiple stages or multiple steps. And there is something like deep attentional multimodal similarity model that tries to find this correlation between word features and the images that are getting generated. So again, here the text encoder is a bidirectional LSTM which will extract your semantic vectors from your text description. We already know what bidirectional LSTMs do. So it is a sequence of, again, forward and backward LSTMs updating the weights. So this image encoder is convolution neural network which will map your images to semantic vectors. We already saw what would have happened already in your text encoder. Similarly, now there is an image encoder. Once this encoding is done, the attention-driven image text matching score is designed to measure the matching of the image sentence pair. We already said in the previous case also, sentence and image pairs are matched, right? Now similarly, what was done in 22 was another good paper called as cross-model contrastive learning for text to image generation. So again, there is something like intermodal and intramodal contrastive loss, and they have used this GAN for text to image synthesis generation. So there is next level kind of applications which are developed, the text to image models which have used your vector quantized variational autoencoders or vector quantized GAN. So we have used already GAN, but now we have vector quantized variational autoencoders. This was again a very good paper in 2021 where they started with zero shot text to image generation. We know about zero shot, one shot, multi shot, right? So how many iterations does it take? So here what they have done is they have used your variational autoencoders, and what happens in variational autoencoders is it uses a lower bound of the likelihood. The exact likelihood is not available, but it uses the lower bound of variational autoencoders, lower bound of likelihood is used. So at least beyond that threshold, it tries to classify, right? Or it does the prediction based on that lower base likelihood. So other likelihood models include autoregressive models and diffusion models. And in this case, they have used vector quantized variational autoencoders by using downsampling of the image resolution. So in this paper, what they have explained is this two-stage process. One is training your discrete variational autoencoders such that they try to compress these various images into 32 by 32 grid of image tokens. We know all this idea of tokens from CNNs also. We already know that idea of tokens. So this will reduce the context size of the transformer by a huge factor. Now it is possible. With reduced size, it is easy to do the computations. And then this concatenated, it is concatenated with your such kind of encoded text tokens with your image tokens. Now text tokens and image tokens are concatenated. Now it is trained on your autoregressive transformers, which we saw in the first paper. So that is the idea. So in case of variational autoencoders, we said there is some kind of a lower bound of likelihood that is maximized so that the joint likelihood of your model distribution over these images and captions and the tokens for your encoded RGB image is improved. So this distribution of X, Y, Z, already you have this, and this lower bound is used, and try to improve upon that. Now similarly in 22 also there was another paper which is like make a sense, scene based text to image with human priors. Now what happens when you read this kind of papers, you are able to focus on what kind of changes or how they have compared with the existing techniques or existing papers. So as you can see here, again similar to what has been used in the previous paper, they have used a modified variational autoencoder for semantic segmentation building on your existing variational autoencoders, such that now these are split into multiple channels. From these channels you are getting multiple classes now. So these semantic segmentation groups, right? These are for panoptic segmentation, human segmentation, face segmentation. All these are extracted from your complete multiple channels of that particular picture. Now obviously what is happening is that because of this segmentation at with multiple dimensions, you are getting much better, much sharper pictures as compared to only normal segmentation where certain features would have got lost. So also what is suggested is the additional channel is a map of your edges separating the different classes and instances. Obviously edges are very important when you talk about images and recognition of images across backgrounds, across blur, all this. So that also has got added. So if you read the paper, I think you'll get more details about how several modifications at segmentation and image reconstruction methods have been used. So these modifications are losses in the form of emphasis where specific region awareness, perceptual knowledge. However, there is a lot of research that is required to be able to talk more about what do you really mean by region awareness, feature matching over task-specific pre-trained networks, and so on. Now we come to another technique called as diffusion models. These are very commonly used, very famous for your text-to-image generation. So the idea of diffusion models is that these are score-based models. Score, just like your cricket score, right? When there is a score, you know whether you are doing good or not. If somebody has scored a sixer in one ball or a 4 in one ball, you know the performance. So like that, diffusion models are score-based generative models, and that's the reason why they are being used for various things. So the key feature of these models is that there is iterative sampling. What kind of sampling is being done? There is something like noise. Initially there is some amount of noise that is seen, and then this noise they try to go on reducing. So these models are generated samples by gradually removing noise from a signal, and the training objective can be expressed as reweighted variational lower bound, and because of this changing of your noise, continuously it tries to denoise these images. Right? So diffusion models sample from a distribution by reversing a gradual noising process. So the sampling starts with some particular noise and produces gradually less noisy samples until it finally reaches some particular sample. That means there is no more noise. That absolute no more noise is a bit difficult to achieve, but almost zero noise. So at each time step, what happens is it tries to, there is some particular noise level, and it is a mixture of signal x0 with some other noise where the signal to noise ratio is determined by each particular time step. Less signal to noise ratio is good, or more signal to noise ratio is good? Signal to noise ratio is a very common parameter that is used. Less signal to noise ratio is good, or more signal to noise ratio is good? Less is good, isn't it? So as compared to the signal, the noise should be less when you are trying to identify. So the next step is it tries to produce more denoised image. At the next step, in the next iteration, reduce the noise. So it is more denoised now. So like this, at multiple steps it tries to go on denoising. How does it measure? It tries to use this particular function epsilon naught of xt, comma t, which predicts a noise component of a noisy sample. Then you train this model in mini batch and produce some randomly drawing some sample x0 at time step and noise and so on. And then there is some kind of a error. So mean square error and loss should be reduced. Now there is also something called as latent diffusion models, which are slight variants of your diffusion models. So what, as you must have, those who are doing research in these images and computer vision might be knowing, but however I would like to just give a brief comparison of your autoregressive models and GANs with reference to your, how do they compare to your diffusion models. So in high resolution synthesis of complex natural scenes, etc., this idea of likelihood based models. What is these likelihood based models? The idea is to look at autoregression, how much of autoregression is there in this entire model. That means how much is it better compared to the previous patch or the nearest patch. So that is the idea of autoregressive. Go on trying to reduce that, right? So these diffusion models are built from hierarchy of denoising autoencoders. So these even unconditional diffusion models can be readily applied to this kind of in-painting, colorization or stroke-based synthesis and so on. Now these likelihood-based models do not exhibit any this kind of training instabilities like in generative adversarial networks. The idea of generative adversarial networks is continuously based upon the quality of the generative model, right? Or the generator itself should be good enough so that you don't take too much of time. The time it spends in trying to identify that Dilloff loss, right? That would be more if the generator isn't good enough. So that you can overcome by using this kind of likelihood based models. So this idea of reducing the complexity while you use this image generation by from your latent space with single pass network, the more amount of multiple images that you have, and you fix your when you start using diffusion models, you fix some kind of a latent space because you have already trained on those images. Now the challenge is when multiple this kind of images are there, for your diffusion models the latent space would have changed, right? That is a challenge. There are a number of papers with reference to how efficient diffusion models can be used. So there is one good paper where they have done a survey, comprehensive survey. Those who are working in this area should look into this paper. This was up to 22. They did a survey from 2019 to 22. Now as you can see, they have added few of the older models also based on what principles are they can be classified based on principles, the practices, right? And upon various companies and so on. So this is a timeline of efficient DMs or diffusion models. Similarly, a lot of work in this paper has described about the foundational diffusion theories and models. These were the various papers. Of course, you need to go to the paper to talk about this reference. And then there are score-based matching, latent modeling, conditional guidance. Similarly, not only the principles, in this paper, they also have given mainstream network architecture, whether variational autoencoders have been used or text encoders and backbone and so on. So it's pretty much detailed. Yeah. There was another recent paper where they are talking about harnessing binary latent codes for image generation and improved visual representation capabilities. So they have used this idea of image generation model that utilizes binary latent codes for generative tasks with improved representational capabilities. So the idea is not only to discuss this paper. The idea is to tell you that slight tweaking of existing algorithms, existing techniques, by adding some of the existing mechanisms or methodologies can result in totally new work, new papers, right? So there is a good scope for all of you researchers to get to the core ideas that are already available, but see how you can incorporate this idea of, this latent space was already available. If you can use your binary latent codes with generative tasks, can you really come up with a new work? That is what has been done here. So first, they unified generative and discriminative tasks, and then they got improved performance. So they are talking about 3 different components. One is binary tokenizer that converts your pixel level image into a sequence of binary latent codes. Not a tough task, right? We already know that. There are already images with pixels, and we can actually convert all of that into binary latent codes. We already know this idea of transformers. Attention is all you need. We know all that. So the transformers which are equipped with your full bidirectional attention, not one directional. We also know about how LSTMs work in bidirectional mode. You can also use your attention based mechanisms in bidirectional mode. That got added, and then binary transcoder, which transforms continuous features into Bernoulli distributed binary codes. I'm just trying to show whatever is existing, how they intelligently merged these various concepts and came up with a very good solution. So they used your advantages of uniformity, efficiency, flexibility, scalability by using existing techniques, however, merging those various concepts. So there's some good picture as well with how the binary tokenization led to some masked, some kind of encoding, and then there are masked tokens. We know about llama, so they used bidirectional llama also, and binary transcoder, and then there is generation and there is representation, which was used to understand whether this representation really can be mapped from whatever is getting generated. That apart, there was a very good paper which, as you can see from the data, or this is the training data. From the training data, they use probability flow, right? So by using ordinary differential equation. So from data to noise, they know that by adding by using how much of ordinary differential equation by how much of noising, complete noise is available. So from this, given this kind of noise, how do you trace it back to come back to this image? So this is the idea of generator and discriminator and reversing from your generated images. So if you could train your model to do from data to noise, is it not possible to do from noise to data? That is the idea that was used in your consistency models. Now coming to the most latest, very recent kind of work that was done, where fast and controllable image generation with latent consistency models. So this idea of consistency model was used in coming up with this PixArt. I don't know how many of you have tried to use PixArt. This PixArt Delta is the first one. Then now there is PixArt Epsilon. Now for images, for text to image kind of tasks, what are your evaluation metrics? How do you evaluate? Only vision models, only computer vision models, we know that there is something called as IOU, intersection over union. Normal machine learning models, what metrics do you use? Normal machine learning models, what metrics do you use to measure the performance? Accuracy, precision, right? All this. For images, you use intersection over union when you start creating some images, right? However, for this kind of a task where you are talking about generating some images from your text, there is some metric called as FID. So this quantifies the difference between distribution of image features extracted from some pre-trained inception network. So similarly, there is something called as clip score. Clip score also does a similar thing. So it evaluates the alignment or compatibility between your image and its corresponding text description. So so if you are talking about the technical math behind that, it is like it tries to identify the correlation between images and text from your cosine similarity between image and text embeddings. We know already that text to embedded models, we know how you can convert to embeddings. Images also you can convert to embeddings. How much is the variance between those two embeddings? That measure is what is called as clip, right? That is the clip score. Now we can identify, we see that this FID score and clip score are the ones that are used to evaluate how good did your model do your text to image conversion, or gave you a good image based on what text you give. So this FID assesses image quality and diversity by comparing distributions of image features, and clip score evaluates the alignment between the text and image, measuring how well the generated image matches your given text prompt. So till now what we were talking about is not multimodal. So it could be text, image, video, audio and so on. Right? That is the next level. I just thought I'll put a brief introduction to your multimodal kind of models and approaches that are being done, so that you can take on research in this particular domain. Text to image is a very useful kind of problem space for you to work on, because as we said, an image is worth 1,000 words, or like a poet, like Leonardo da Vinci also said, for a poet it would take huge amount of time to describe what a painter can do. Now similar to that, what requires research today is about multimodal approaches. Given some particular audio, can you convert it into some kind of text? So text to audio, audio to video, video to speech, and so many other kind of changes. Given something, can you take on from there? So there was a good paper called as Diff Blender, Scalable and Composable Multimodal Text to Image Diffusion Models. So the input modalities could be some kind of a sketch. Some kind of sketch was given, and then what is the depth is identified. What kind of colors do you want? Based on all of that, they generated this kind of image. The text is only Jeep here. Here the text is swimming rabbits. Where do you want those rabbits to be placed? What kind of color combinations you require? And it generated all this kind of images. Similarly, as you can see, there is something like jumping astronaut. Here only the box and the key points. Right? This was given, and a partial sketch was given as to what should be the background, and the style was given. From these multimodal inputs that are given, the images are given as the outputs by using this particular paper. This was a result that they were showing. And they compared with various existing methods like Glygen, T2I adapter, ControlNet, UniNet, Composer and so on. So from image forms, from spatial tokens, non-spatials, spatial means in space, right? So spatial tokens, non-spatial, whether they are using multimodal training or whether it can work only with your partial training. So some comparison can be made. And then the results showed a lot of, with comparison with T2I adapter, with pair diffusion, how does it work as compared to their work? You can see so much of difference. Here if you see T2I adapter D kind of model compared to the work that they have shown. In Diff Blender, totally, the concept is the same, however, a very good result is shown. So they also incorporated a lot of box manipulation, key points manipulation, etc. And then color interpolation, style interpolation. So the idea is to say that once, can you really look at multimodal kind of research? Given some kind of only text, they try to convert. Then text and maybe some key points, and then maybe some kind of background or line diagrams. All this, can you give better pictures? There's also a good paper from Apple on an any-to-any vision model for tens of tasks and modalities. Tens of tasks and modalities, any-to-any vision model. Now what is that any-to-any? It is not only text to image, not only image captioning, image to text, right? But also multiple other models. So there could be a lot of There are so many, right? There are something like RGB modalities, the edge modalities. You need to talk about color, you need to talk about depth, you need to talk about the bounding boxes, semantic segmentation, the feature maps. Those who are working in computer vision would know all of this. However, now the idea is, can you use multiple such ways of working with the images, text, all these combinations to give a much better image and result. So this was something that was proposed by these authors. However, there's a lot more that you can do, right? So they are taking RGB modalities, edge modalities, text, metadata, global features, and so on. So I think with this for you to research on, I'll stop here. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for a very clear and exhaustive description of what goes behind the generative AI models. You have enlightened from a very primitive level to a complex scale of what goes behind these. It would have been really helpful for all the researchers who are working in these fields. Now, I would like to thank ma'am on behalf of the conference organizers and the management of Methodist College of Engineering. I would like to request Sharda ma'am, the co-chair of the conference, to present a token of appreciation to ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you to all the participants who are gathered here, and for all the online participants who are watching the YouTube live stream. We will be breaking off with the keynote session here, and we will be joining with the session tracks immediately after this high tea. So we are breaking for tea. I would request all the participants to be seated till the dignitaries leave, and we will be having a high tea in the fourth floor above.
All the faculty, delegates, and student volunteers, please join us for high tea at the terrace. And all the track in charges, I think you'll have to rush for the labs to your respective venues to start the session immediately. Yeah. For the in charges, tea will be provided to the respected venues, as we are already getting late. You please rush up to your venues, respective venues, and start the session. I know there are so many participants waiting there for giving their presentations. Thank you. Only the in charges rush up to your venues, and the others can join for the tea and then join your people. Lunch is at 1:30. Session and track in charges, please note, lunch is at 1:30 at the terrace only, once again. Volunteers, you will be given food coupons. You can also join for lunch. Thank you all. Madam, offline start చేసేస్తాం. Shahana Tanveer madam and Vasvi madam, please rush to start the offline session. Tea will be provided at your venues.